it will be hypocritical of me to not ask you this, which is obviously you are a proponent of the fire movement. You obviously talk a lot about fire, but here you are starting another company. Why so?
So, A, I, it would be wrong to say that, that fire is essentially like an endpoint. You achieve it and you are done. A lot of times I see fire as a solution to a problem. The problem being you don't like the sort of work that you are doing. So what do? You stop doing that job. Fire essentially exists as a last resort. More often than not, when you don't like the work, it's got less to do with the work, it's got more to do with the people that you're working with. And sometimes it's also to do with the work that you are doing. You should essentially try maybe changing your team, maybe changing the company that you're working in, maybe changing the field that you're working in. You should try all of that. And if everything else fails, then fire becomes the only option. So I worked as a math teacher for most of my life. But after I started the business grew. After the company got acquired, broadly, my work shifted more towards managing people, generating sales, generating revenue, the teaching element of it. So when I started my career, 95% of my responsibility was teaching and 5% was just managing other stuff. By the time I quit, maybe 5% of my responsibility was teaching and 95% of it was the other stuff. And I could, there was no way out for me to, change that and become a teacher completely. Because if I did that, the amount of money that I would make as a teacher is insignificant compared to the amount of money that you can make as an entrepreneur. Or my last designation I was director of content sales at $1 billion company. So that is because I was a director of content sales. That's why I was making the amount of money that I was making. If I was just a teacher, I would be making 10%, 20% of that. So that was the reason, because I didn't really like the work, that I quit. And I had the option to quit. I had the money to quit. So that was in 2022.